Well, greetings YouTube and welcome to Monday's edition of The Breakfast Club. I'm Got That Funk and I want to thank you for joining me. I'd also like to thank all the viewers for the enthusiastic response that we've had to the channel so far. Since I made my first video last Monday, we've gained 200 subscribers and I'm very grateful for all of you jumping aboard The Breakfast Club. But I want to ask a favor. If you like what you see on this video or on any video by any contributor on The Breakfast Club, please make a point of hitting the like button. Even better than that would be to hit the like button and leave a comment. And even better than that would be to hit the like button and leave a comment and choose to share the video on other social media platforms. And the reason I'm asking that is because the way Google's algorithms work, they actively disfavor smaller channels and don't necessarily send out our videos to all of our subscribers. So the only way that we can make sure everybody gets to see the videos is if people who are watching them are interacting with the videos in one way or another. So please like, comment, share. We would all really appreciate it. I'm sure I speak for all the hosts when I say that. Right, so let's get on with the content of this video. And I'd like to ask all my viewers, do you believe in ghosts? I've been asked this question off and on my entire life, and a lot of people, especially some of my religious friends, seem to take it for granted that because I'm an atheist, I must not believe in ghosts. Well, I know plenty of atheists who believe in certain supernatural ideas or concepts, whatever you want to call them, ghosts being one of them. My last girlfriend was an atheist, and she believed in both magic and ghosts. I know plenty of atheists who believe in karma, or that everything happens for a reason. If you confront them and say, whose reason? They don't really have an answer for that. Just a reason, you know. Anyway, I'm digressing. The point is, a belief in ghosts is almost universal throughout humanity and throughout human history. Virtually every culture has had or entertained the notion that the undead can be amongst us in some form or another as a ghost. And I want to ask you, why do you think that is? I mean, you know, religion, it gives you lots of promises about a life after death. And that doesn't really necessarily matter which religion you believe in. They all have that in common. But I'm not necessarily talking about life after death, because being a ghost, I don't think is what they're really talking about. They're talking about some sort of higher plane when you talk about religious life after death. And belief in ghosts fascinates me as well, because while it might seem counterintuitive that someone who doesn't believe in God might believe in ghosts, and I know plenty of atheists who believe in ghosts, what I'm always fascinated by is my Christian friends who believe in ghosts, because it seems to me that if you believe in the doctrine, you believe that once the human body is dead, there's only two places you can go, heaven or hell. And certainly being left behind kind of breaks the Christian doctrine dramatically, doesn't it? I mean, if your spirit can exist here on earth, haven't you sort of dodged the bullet that God was trying to send you if he wanted to send you to hell? And haven't you evaded heaven if you had given your life over to Jesus and then you wind up as a ghost? I just find all these questions really interesting, and I don't think there's any such thing as a right or wrong answer to any of this stuff. I personally don't believe in ghosts. Having said that, I've had a few experiences in my life that I think if they happen to another person, that person would attribute those actions to ghosts. And let me tell you about two of them. I've mentioned this on my channel before. But one time I was sitting watching Star Trek Voyager with my girlfriend. And long story short, there was a painting that was hung on the wall. It was quite secure. I'm not going to go into how I know it was secure, but it was securely hung on the wall. And it literally jumped off the wall and the glass shattered all over the floor. I literally can't explain how that happened. The nail was still intact. The hook on the back of the painting was still intact. There's no reason for it to do it. My best guess is there was some sort of a minor earth tremor, which might have jostled it enough to make it jump off the nail, but not jostled the floor enough for us to perceive any earthquake. But this was in the UK. It wasn't in California. That's my best guess as to what happened. In that same room, I had a picture on a shelf, leaning back on a picture frame like that, and one day it just went bam, like that. It basically defied gravity. There was no major drafts in the house, there was no windows open, there was no mice or rats behind the picture. All of us in the room were sitting down, we weren't jostling anything about. No reason for that to happen whatsoever. But you know what else? There's no reason for a ghost to knock my picture over or to take my picture off the wall and smash it. More to the point, if you're a person who entertains the notion that ghosts could possibly exist. I'd like to ask you in all sincerity, what do you think a ghost is? I mean, what is it actually made of? People say it's made of energy. Well, I mean, to be blunt, energy permeates the universe. Some of it is in the form of matter, some of it is in the form of wavelengths, but there is energy everywhere at all times. And how energy can be personalized or localized with some sort of intention when there's no physical mind to give it intention is something I find baffling and incredibly difficult to swallow, frankly. And if a ghost is insubstantial, if it's not made of matter, if it's not made of that kind of energy, how is it affected by gravity? I mean, why doesn't the Earth just fly off and leave the ghost back in space somewhere? How can it be affected by gravity if it's not made of matter? If it is made of matter, how can it disappear and reappear, or go through a wall or a door or whatever, which ghosts are purported to do? It's my personal opinion that when people say they see a ghost, their perception of seeing something is probably real. But I'm not saying they're seeing something real. What I'm personally of the opinion that when someone says they see a ghost, they're projecting part of their imagination and superimposing that on reality for whatever reason. And that is not to disparage people who say they've seen a ghost, not at all. I take it quite seriously when people say they've seen ghosts, Having said that, I've never seen one, and the evidence of ghosts in my life, i.e. the pictures that I've talked about, I don't think a natural presumption is that it must be some sort of, undead person who wanted to freak us out for some reason. What would a ghost have to gain by freaking out a living person? One of the other things that bugs me about this, people who believe in ghosts, is that they tend to assume that the undead, the ghost, lingers for a particular reason, that they have some unresolved issue while they were alive that they didn't properly get to resolve, and therefore their energy is attached to a place or to an object or to people. And the reason I object to that is because, quite frankly, I don't care if you live to be 125 years old, there's always going to be some unfinished business that you had in your life. So if the unfinished business thing is really a thing, then surely everybody would be a ghost after they're dead. But I don't think people who believe in ghosts believe that everybody becomes a ghost when they die. So these are just a few questions that the topic of ghosts sort of brings up in my mind. I don't have any concrete answers. I do know that I personally can't believe in ghosts because I don't believe in an individuated spirit. For that matter, I don't believe in any spirit in a conventional religious sense of the word. So what is it? What is a ghost supposed to be? What is it made of? How does it move? How does it perceive? Etc. I mean, if a ghost is insubstantial, right? I mean, our eyes and our other senses can only perceive vibrations. Our eyes perceive the vibrations of light, photons, and so on. And if a ghost is insubstantial, it therefore should not be able to be affected by light and shadow because there's no material from which to reflect the light off of. You follow? So these are some of the reasons I don't believe in ghosts. What do you think? Have you ever seen a ghost? Perceived a ghost? Wondered if ghosts are real? There's nothing wrong with it if you have. As far as I'm concerned, we're all entitled to our wacky beliefs. I know I've got some pretty wacky beliefs myself. But belief in ghosts is not one of them. I want to thank you for watching this video. I look forward to an interesting and lively conversation in the comments section. JJ Talks will be up next for tomorrow's edition of The Breakfast Club. Please, again, hit the like button if you like what you see, and I look forward to seeing you again here next week. Until then, may all your ups and downs be ups.